Welcome to Julie Whitney Scott Presents Let's Talk Theater, a Mind for God production sponsored event, heard only on WGRN LP 94.1, the Green Renaissance Station. Let's Talk Theater.
Welcome to Let's Talk Theater. I'm your host, Julie Whitney Scott. And once again, I'm bringing to you somebody that is a dynamite person in the theater world that I bet you didn't even know about. Miss Lisa McLymont. Lisa. She is a dynamite set designer. If you don't believe me, you can go check out my page or her page and see some of her designs. I'm so excited to bring her here today to introduce her to you guys because I think it's important that we know about all of the talents that we have, known and unknown, right here in Central Ohio. Lisa, welcome so much to Let's Talk Theater. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how did you come to become a set designer?
Well, I am trained as a graphic designer, so I have a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Design, but I've always identified as an artist on the inside. I didn't call myself an artist until after 2009, when I hit a really deep burnout trying to be a designer and having a hard time breaking into that market. I, had some achievement there, but I wasn't hitting the pinnacle that I was thinking I was capable of. So graphic design, by the way. So I shifted gears and I got into landscape, art pieces, abstract landscapes. I made jewelry. I just got really curious with materials and seeing what I could do with my creativity. And all that leads up to last year when Chanel invited me to do a set design for the first time. So I'm a first timer in this. I used my design and artist talents and brought that together with my knowledge of hours of walking around in Lowe's and, learning about materials, and designed this set based on the Ghanaian landscape of schools in the 80s. So it was based on a girls' school, boarding school. So I learned a lot about it. It was really great to go back in time and think about Whitney Houston and neon colors and really graphic design, textures and everything. And all that came together to create this environment that really resonated with a lot of people. And it was exciting to see all the actors utilize the space. So that's where I'm at. And I am now working primarily as a full-time artist. So I have artist representation. I make fine art. I still do some graphic design, but I'm really open to anything that helps pump up my curiosity and helps me learning, and then sharing education with others or inspiration with others is the core of what I do.
That's really interesting. I want to piggyback and go back. Why do you think is it difficult for anyone to get into the digital world? Or what do you think was something I've always wondered about that particular field?
The digital world of design specifically, or just anything digital? Because there are so many different things. I think.
What were you doing?
Okay, so I am old enough to be knowledgeable about the old way to do things and then transitioning into computers. So it was the early 90s when I was in school, in college, and I got to see Macs hit the scene. And so I've been working with mostly Macs, but I have some PC knowledge. I think the bigger thing is being curious. So I've said that a couple times. That is the best learning tool you have, because then you ask questions of others, you research on Google, you go to the library, you go to stores, you soak up all the knowledge, and then you figure out ways to utilize what you learned. And I think that's the same thing in the digital world. So whatever your interest is, just dive in and explore as much as you can. Nowadays, you don't even have to go to college. I think paying for college is really paying for a shortcut into a network of learning terms in that vein of learning, finding a network of people to work with and that you grow with. Because, you know, I'm in my early 50s now, and I'm still in touch with people I went to college with. So that's what I bought into. And luckily I got through school and I didn't have any debt, but that's a big commitment for a whole family a lot of times. So, you know, be careful about, you know, jumping into college and taking a loan out, but do what you can to get yourself to a point where you can invest in college. Because I don't discount it. I think it's really important to go to college, but it's not everything, because you could learn quite a bit and reach out to the right people who will give you opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point in regards to college and things that we do artistically. The reason I say that is because some things, and most of us we have been given a gift and a talent from God that we didn't even, you know, that we had nothing to do with. And as you say, we go to college, some of us, because we want to get the technical pieces of it. And I remember I've been writing since I was a child, and directing plays since I was in my 20s. But it wasn't until I got in my 50s and actually started doing more of it on a professional level under my company that I started realizing, like, I started working with other people that were professionals, and then some of them had went to school for theater, and I'm out here doing set designs, talking about lights and
Right.
this, that, and everything that you do when you got a small company and you just it, and and have some people that help you, but you still don't have no money, and so you're out here trying to do all these things, and then people would say, I'll talk to a light designer or something, and I'll go, well, this is because I was have stuff in my scripts, and they go, oh, that's a text script. I say, oh, so I've been writing text scripts. Okay, cool. So you know, this is a text script. When I put in, I want a light here and a sound there.
Yeah.
You know, versus me was just doing it. Or I'll say, hey, I want this right here or that, and they'll say, oh yeah, you want. They'll say the term, and I'll go, oh, thank you. So also that's the term. So it's sometimes you learn, especially when you get, like you said, when we get in our 50s or something, young people out there as you get older who are now in the business world and all that, and thinking, I don't know, I wish I want, or those of you who are our age or older right now and who are thinking, Dad, I really want to.
It's never too late.
Something artistically, but I didn't go to school or something like that. You can get out there and do hands-on with people that have already done it who can teach you. Would you agree with that, Lisa?
I completely agree. My life opened up after 40. So I thought it's over, you know, and then I had that deep breakdown. I was in that valley of depression, and I reached up and pulled myself, you know, like you have to pull yourself pull yourself up. So wherever that is, whatever that thing that you feel like is out of reach, what is the small step you can do to get in reach of it, no matter your age? So I definitely think that. I also want to say that I am self-taught in a lot of ways, and I held myself back thinking that I didn't have it done right. When, just as you said, I might not know the term, but I was already doing it, you know? So don't discredit what you've learned from just exploring. That is really important. And what's also important about that is you learn different ways to be innovative without even knowing it. You don't know how you're supposed to do it, so you do it in a way that seems to work. And might be a whole new way of doing it. You might innovate the whole field. You just don't know until you talk to more people and share that knowledge.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that, what you just said, because you don't know unless you get out there and try it.
Exactly.
And there's a fear, of course, in doing that. And I don't know if it's as you get older, you say, the heck with it. You know, I'm just going to go do it, you know. Or if it's in your youth and you know, you're already fearless anyway, and I want to do it, you know, regardless.
Yeah, I think curiosity too, like, what's going to happen if I try it?
I'm young, I'm fearless, you know. So like you said, it doesn't matter what age it is.
Yeah, because you could be older and you got nothing to lose. What have you got to lose to try?
What you got to lose? You young, hey, get out there. If you
Right.
fail, you do something else. You know, you got to.
Exactly.
So it's yeah.
Failing is part of the learning. You got to fail to be able to build on something. If
Yes.
you if you fly through everything, you don't get to learn. It doesn't hit.
That's good. Good stuff. You mentioned about how the art helped you out of depression. Are you comfortable with talking about how important? Now, I was a counselor for over 30 something years, and but not only that, I also have was suicidal and was battled with depression a lot uh, in my teens and early 20s. Made a couple of attempts. God said no. I was mad at him about it, but hey,
Wow.
he said no. So
Not your
so
time.
and actually started working on the suicide prevention hotline to help me when I was 19 years old, uh, to just kind of get some help on my own through helping others. And it worked, because I ended up
Yeah.
being a suicide prevention hotline worker, volunteer. And then I went on, and then by the time I was 21, I was a suicide prevention hotline trainer, training people younger than me and older than me at 20 and 21 how to help somebody calling
Mm-hmm.
in. And I know for a fact that through helping others like that and
It's
hearing
healing.
other people's stories that was a whole lot worse than mine, and it made me say, "Oh, why would I kill myself?" And
Perspective is
then
everything.
yeah, and then my art, my writing of stories and poetry and things like that. I know that's what help me. Talk about how your art, you started using that. How did it help you?
First off, I do want to say volunteering is such a great healer. You might have all the strife in your heart and all the depression. Not all the depression. I definitely know people who are a lot more depressed than I was, and my pit was fleeting compared to the lifetime that I know a lot of people deal with. So I'm not trying to gloss over the depth of that and the seriousness of it. But for me, giving myself to a thing, which to me was arts, helped me, to see that what I make and physically and mentally let go of. Like in 2009, I decided, because I was making things and holding them close and not showing people. So I got to the point where I said to myself, I'm going to make it and I'm going to share it with the world. I'm going to let go of it. And that's when I could sell my work. And that's when I could like make things and just show my process as I was making. And, to this day, I'm still doing that. So I'm like about 12 years into this. And it's really been a big changer for me. So I started out, I signed up for this group effort thing at the Gateway when it opened out on campus. And I ended up in this thing called the Shoebox, and I became a fellow with OSU Arts Initiative. And I found a great network of people to grow with. I found continually, again, that I was the only Black person. Over and over and over again. And I just had to find my way through that. I don't feel like I lost my voice as a Black woman, as a queer woman, but I was very aware of my aloneness in a lot of these spaces. So I just had to persevere. And part of that was, again, volunteering and learning how to hang a show, how to build a frame, how to put on an event, like not that I did these things, but I watched the process happening and I got to learn about what it takes to do a thing and decide where I wanted to put my energy. And all of that was really helpful. And you can't pay for that to go. When you go to school, you don't get all that. So there was something really, really important to finding that community and putting yourself into it wholly and not expecting all the time to get paid, but do push to get paid. I think that is also really important. Getting paid is really good confirmation that you're on a good track. So it's not the only confirmation, but it is very important to be able to continue supporting what you're doing.
Yeah, you brought up a couple of good points that I want to talk about with you. But first, I want to piggyback on, like you said, the volunteers. I remember when I first started Mind for God, I didn't have anything. I was just out there trying to do this. And if it wasn't for people who also wanted to perform, that volunteered to be in my plays and act and do things free, volunteering out of love that I want to act. I just want to, I need an opportunity. And being Black and not having opportunities to perform on stage and have decent characters, which was my whole goal with Mind for God Productions and the Columbus Black Theater Festival, is to see us, to give opportunities for us. But when I first started off with that, it was like I only made it because of the grace of people, volunteers who, like me, are okay with volunteering my time to help get something going and to still be able to do what I want to do and get my passions out and the things that I love. So that's the progression. So now I pay people. Now the actors are paid. Oh, do they get a whole lot of money? Well, no, this is it's not Broadway. But do you have some money? You know what I'm saying? Did we move? Did I move from the level of just having volunteers help and just keep going that, like, oh, I'm just going to have volunteers help, to be able to give something,
as an organizer, something back. You got to push to get people paid. You're right. Volunteerism I'm talking about might be more some of the behind the scenes. So I think actors want the opportunity to grow and learn as actors, and that is great. And a lot of times they don't always get paid, or they get paid very little. But the set design aspect or the props, and like there's lots of different ways to put together a show that I think you can come together and have as a new person, and you grow through that to be able to get to the stage. Like not every actor can just end up on the stage, whether or not they're volunteering. I think coming through that network and learning the community and helping others realize their dreams is part of what feeds you to get to your dream. That is what I meant with volunteerism. Outside of that,
that's what I'm talking about, because that's what we as production companies had to start off. Everything has to be volunteered.
It does.
Every piece. The people that helped me, some of the design sets for me, some of them that helped me with the props, all of that, with the set crew, all of that, all of that, and it had to start as people being willing. Now, what I have found, since you brought that topic up, is that there are certain things that we cannot get for free. And like, of course you can't, you got to pay for the vendor. Yeah. So let's talk about being Black. And you said queer. I'm really, I'm at that age, I'm uncomfortable with queer, but I know that that's okay. You see, I'm learning. I'm learning that it's okay. But for me, it's got, because I'm going on,
I know.
I've got some age over you.
50 and older, it was an insult. It was
I got some age over you, so it's hard for me to break that, to want to say that to you. You see what I mean? It's like me calling you again. I'm not going to do that. See?
No, I'm not doing that either. We agree on that.
So you see what I'm saying, girl? So, but it's one of those, like, I know they're comfortable, but I ain't comfortable saying that. But let's talk about it. The difficulties of being the only one in the room. I have always been the straight, almost Black in the room. You see, and woman. And let me tag that on. There's a lot of times when I found myself being the only Black straight woman. In a male-dominated room. Let's talk about that difficulties.
It's crazy making, actually. It's a mix of being unseen or seen as stereotypes and trying to fight through that, building yourself in a way that presents differently than the stereotypes that they're throwing back at you. I walk in a room and I never even said, "Oh, girl," but here you are saying that to me, like I'm going to give you that back, and like that's not how I talk. But okay, the best that I could do is be my best example and not feed what you think I am. But I can still be an angry Black woman. So what am I going to do?
It's one of those, like you said, we're put in a box. And what I have found, and this is not just this is from all races of men, mostly, I've found. They tend to want to be condescending sometimes in regards to my feelings about something, or my what I think about something. And as I've gotten older, I've learned how to deal with that very effectively.
Right.
Shut that down
Yep.
real quick in a very nice way. But in my younger days,
Tear you
wasn't
apart.
like that. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of confrontation going on, because in my younger days, I just was not going to tolerate that and would just come straight out and say that. And even now I say that, but I know I say that.
You can say it with a smile.
You know what I'm saying? So that it's said, and it's not turned, even though people are going to try to turn it anyway on me anyway. Oh, she's difficult. Oh, that's hard. Well, it's difficult because I said it. It wasn't difficult when he said it, but I said it. So now it's difficult.
Yeah.
I'm difficult to deal with. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that we deal with.
Yeah.
As women of color, women whether we straight or not.
Yep.
Whatever we are,
It's like whatever we are, at the end of the day, we walk in a room and they see a Black woman.
Period.
So, I said, my queer self purposefully, because like, I don't want people to not think that. I don't want, because I'm very out in my life. So it's not something new that anybody's revealed by, like it just, I'd rather you learn all that about me. So when I do walk in the room, we have an understanding, and then we can actually get somewhere together, or you don't invite me into the room and then I'm off to the thing that I want to be going to, like that's a whole nother thing. Putting it out there makes it easier for me to navigate my world. It's a survival thing for me too, to be able to say it. When I was younger, I wouldn't say it necessarily. I kind of lived it, but there were a lot of times if I hit conflict, I would just disappear, like, okay, well, I'm not welcome here. Bye. And that you'd get no understanding from me on what happened. So I would just be off to the next thing, and then I would never work with you again. Now I try to find a way to say something because I have some age behind it, and I do care. Like I want people to understand that is a problem, and maybe you don't realize it, or maybe you're joking. I don't really care, but it was offensive to me, or it hurt me, and I need you to know that. And I think I'm getting better at that as I get older.
I think that's such a good point that you just made up. Getting better as you get older, of letting people understand and know that we're not accepting that. It's good, I think, especially at this time, for us to really embrace that, because at this time people are willing to listen. The opposite sides are willing to listen.
Yes,
and
the urgency is there because of this time. Absolutely.
Because this is the perfect time. And,
now's the time to
and if you can't do it now, when can you do it?
This is the time. This is the time. I'm still impacted by the fact that I was born in 1969 when all this social unrest was happening for Black people. And here we are again. Now is the time. I am 53 this year. We don't have any more time. I have urgency about it. Like, I don't want to die and see us back at the 60s again. Not that I'm going to die. I plan to be here for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. I was in a meeting, and a person of a white presenting person, and I'm the only one in the meeting, the only brown one, and the only female. And they make a comment about the lights and not being able to see with the lights out. And there was a time when I would have let that go and not said anything. But like I said, those times are over. And I said to the person, like, you know, I didn't appreciate that racist joke. And of course, the feedback, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's not racist. And I'm talking to somebody, girl, that's your age, almost mine. You know that is.
Yeah.
You know that is.
But
An
people our age,
insult. You know that that's a thing, that a racist joke that said that black people aren't seen when the lights are out unless they smile.
Yeah. But they got away with that when we were half our age, you know, like now is not the time anymore. And now is the time to speak up, exactly. So their kids can't continue to say those things so easily, you know, like it shouldn't come off your tongue that easily. You should be aware.
So, and the funny thing about it too is this person and I, we're pretty cool. You know what I mean? I'm able to talk to, that's what I'm saying. Now is the time when people are really able to take it and understand, like, okay, so that they can change the behavior. Because you can't change the behavior unless you want to change the behavior.
Yes.
And then with this person, I know they want to change that behavior, at least with me.
Yep, exactly.
And that's all I can be quite concerned with, because I don't know what you're going to do with other people, but I know what you're going to do with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have quite a few white friends that a lot of what I share on social media through the years has been to help them educate the people I can't talk to directly. You know, like I see that it's illuminating for you. Please go share that. And I know a lot of them do, but a lot of them are just not trying to rock the boat, and they may be aware, but they still won't speak up. And I just, you know know those people, and you have to figure out how to navigate the world around them. But
and how to help those that want to learn. Because
yes, exactly.
I continue to share. That's the key.
Yeah, I continue to share because of those people that I can see want to learn and are actually utilizing that knowledge.
Well, this has been a really great conversation. Pretty deep. I like getting in deep stuff sometimes. You know, I like to have fun, but I also like to keep it real.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, so I will take it all the way there very quickly.
Me too.
There's no time.
Me too. So, which is why this is a really good interview.
Yeah.
You know, we've touched on a lot of topics I think are going to be very helpful to my listeners that are listening.
Good.
Lisa, one of the things I would like for people to do before we end our conversation is, one, I want you to tell people how they can get a hold of finding out where your wonderful art is. And two, what kind of, we've been given words of encouragement through this whole thing, but what kind of final word of encouragement would you like to give to somebody out there that is in a depressed state, that needs to figure out how to get, as you said, pull yourself up out of that?
Ooh, okay. First, the easy one, that would be find me on Instagram or on Facebook. I post quite often. There is no hate on my page. So if I post about a deep topic, I do tend to generate some good conversation around that topic. You can find my website at Lisa McLymont, LisaMclymont.com, where I've rebuilt my site so I can share. There's a page about the set design that I have to put more photos on. There's a separate link for my graphic design work, past work. There's my fine art work, my portraits, and my abstract landscapes, two of which are behind me. And I think for the people that feel like they're struggling and want to reach for something different in their life, my hope is that you do want to reach. The desire to reach, I think, is the most important. If you don't have that, I would say start trying to write, journal about the torment that's going on. Whether or not you look back on that journal, I think it's just like spit everything out in your brain and clear that so you can start to focus. I would say maybe do some quick Google research to see along your interests what local things might be around that you can go to It might be a store, it might be a library. You just have to reach out to someone to start having conversations. I think that is the place to start. It's the easiest place to start to me. If you are shy and you don't want to talk to anybody, you have the internet. You even have YouTube. There are so many things that people talk about on YouTube. I've been learning about cold wax painting, and I've been watching all these YouTube videos about, and just people, set up their camera and they'll work and, talk about their materials or talk about discoveries, and they'll spend like 40 minutes to an hour just painting. And I think that's been really calming for me to just do that while I'm working on something vastly different, but at least I'm learning and watching through them. And that's why they share that. So there are different avenues that you can do to find information. Otherwise, you can always reach out, send me a message. Please don't put me to work. I will do my best to talk to you, but I'm very busy, so I can't put a lot of time into, but I definitely want to be supportive. So, and I think all my social media makes me very accessible. At least I try to be. I try to answer all the questions. Also, I notice a lot of people do this. If you do send a message on social media, please don't do the like hi and don't put anything else there. I think if you can say hi, but then follow up with a like, I found your page, or I learned about you from somewhere. Give me a little bit more to hang on so I can respond, because I will ignore a message that's just hi. I don't know what to do with that. Are you just fishing? Are you like, what are you doing? Put your personality into that first connection you make with anyone, including me.
Well, that's some really great advice. And Miss Lisa, I am so happy that you were able, out of your busy schedule, to spend some time with me and talk with me and my audience about you.
Yes.
I've learned a lot about you, and I've learned a lot about some other things, and I am sure that my audience will too. So thank you once again for being on Let's Talk Theater.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon. The world is opening up again.
Thank you for joining me, Julie Whitney Scott, your producer and host of Let's Talk Theater, a Mind for God Productions sponsored event, heard only on WGRN LP 94.1. For the full video interview, go to my Julie Whitney Scott Facebook page.